Hey guys, it's Comic Quiz here, bringing the comic review, and today I'm going to be doing Red Hood and the Outlaws issue 1 and Red Hood and the Outlaws annual issue 1. So this issue continuing on from issue 20, where we find out that the Outlaws they have they have bounties put out on their heads, and then we find that Green Arrow has to come in and try and save Roy. So this issue continues on from there. So at the beginning we find Jason, which this really annoyed me, to be honest, where he's on about he's on about this old feeling of deja vu, like people he's been hearing Roy and Starfire telling him that he's a good person, yeah, he's a good person, all that kind of stuff, like they're good friends and things like that, but he has these doubts, and apparently that he doesn't trust them enough, that even though when they say he's a good person, they always turn their eyes or something, so he's thinking that they're lying and needs to find out who he is, when he was trying to forget all this stuff a couple of issues ago. He didn't want to remember anything. So then also in last issue he said that he doesn't want to remember who he was. He said that he was fine. So now he's on about he wants to know who he is again. It's backtracking again. And alright, you had moved forward in your life, now why are you backtracking again? Which kind of annoyed me. So yeah, he breaks into the computer room, and then he searches all records for the Red Hoods, and he finds out that he is a criminal, pretty much, that he has 86 confirmed kills, and that he's pretty much a terrorist considered to most people, which pretty much breaks his heart, because he's pretty much distraught about what he's seeing about himself, saying no, this can't be him. Why would I be this kind of person? What kind of person was I before I erased my memories? So then also we find Green Arrow arrives, who's located Roy on their island. So then Roy goes to see what's going on, because Green Arrow gets attacked by the security that Roy's established, these little Roy bots. So he goes to see what's going on with that. And you also see before he leaves that there's still some tension between him and Corey. He doesn't still fully trust her, because she still hasn't revealed to him what the whole thing with Nightwing was, the whole thing about her memories and stuff. So then yeah, he goes to see so Roy goes to see what's going on with Green Arrow. And they have a very strained relationship, as you can see from their interactions throughout the entire issue. Apparently there was something big that happened between them that really pissed off both of them, because you can see that Arsenal has a lot of bitter feelings towards Green Arrow, but Green Arrow has some kind of feelings of in a way of disappointment and regret in a way. You can see that he regrets some of the things. He didn't say them, but you do see that he does regret some things that happened between them. So then also, as this is happening, this is also being played. This also is being played up with a simultaneous sequence occurring in the past, where we see Roy being pretty much having a session, a therapy session with Hugo Strange. No, is that his name? Hugo? No, not Hugo Strange. That Hugo. Oh, what is his name? Oh no, I've forgotten his name. But this Hugo guy, the dude from Batman Arkham City, the main well, the supposed main villain, the guy who set up Arkham City, I've forgotten his name. Oh no, but he was having a therapy session with him, and then as he's having this therapy session, we get to see the events that happened between Green Arrow and Arsenal, how they started out as partners, how Green Arrow found him in prison. So apparently Roy was pretty much a bad kid before his days with Green Arrow, but then Green Arrow, he bailed him out, he gave him purpose, and he says that he thanks him for that. And apparently we find out his role with Green Arrow, that he built him weapons, he built him his arrows, he built him all the gadgets that he uses, which also highlights just how smart Roy is, because for the longest time, for the first 20 issues, for the first 20 issues, they've always played him up to be this laid back, lazy guy. He's not really intelligent, but he's actually pretty intelligent if he's able to build security drones and robots and all these weaponry, because I thought that Oliver just had bought these things, and that maybe Roy had done the same thing. But no, he actually builds these things, which actually highlights how smart he is, which I actually liked. And these flashback sequences, like I said, play alongside what's happening in the present. So also during the present time anyway, we see Starfire. She gets up from bed. She's pretty much thinking that why can't she tell Roy? She's pretty much upset that they're fighting over this thing. So then she goes to look for him, but then she smells something, like this smell. So then and the lights have gone off, she can't see it, so she walks in, she's walking, calling out to Roy, where are you? So then she turns on the flame with her finger, and then she realizes, oh crap, it's gasoline, and then the whole room blows up. So then we find out that Cheshire is on the island now. And Cheshire, I already knew her from the TV show Young Justice, but she looks really different from her TV counterpart. Like, apparently she has the ability to teleport, which was, I didn't know the ability she had, but it was very interesting to see her use it in this issue. So after she blew up the room, apparently she had laced the air with some kind of toxin which Starfire inhaled, and it was apparently destroying her lungs, and apparently we see her supposedly die. So Roy, after seeing this, he forgets about Green Arrow. He heads back to check out what's wrong with Starfire, and then he finds Cheshire there. So then Green Arrow, Roy, and Cheshire get into this huge fight. They continue chasing her, and Cheshire lays the smack on these guys. I mean, they have no chance. I mean, as skilled as they are, Cheshire is so badass, really. She was a pretty cool character. She really beats them bad. I mean, really bad. What else? So yeah, at first we think that Starfire is dead, and she almost killed Roy as well. She injected him with her poisonous toxin as well. Then she also mentions that she has different kinds of toxins laced into each of her fingernails, and she stabs her fingers into Roy's neck. So Roy's almost dies, but Green Arrow is able to save him by using an antitoxin which Roy keeps in his pocket and injecting him with it. So then we also find out that Cheshire, even though there's a bounty on all their heads, she's not actually after the Outlaws. She's actually after Jason. Because she comes after Jason, she's like, you belong to us. There's no point in running away from your destiny. And Roy's like, no, not Roy. Jason's like, what are you on about? I don't know who you are. So then she's like, wait, why are you playing this whole amnesia game? And Roy and Jason are like, it's not a game. He really can't remember anything. It says it's going on. We get more flashback scenes with the whole Roy and Green Arrow thing. How at first Green Arrow didn't want Roy to join him on the field. How he didn't want to be responsible for his death. But anyway, Roy just went out anyway. Just went out to do his own thing. Then we see him as his young self with a little bow, with a little crossbow and a hat. Which I really hate that hat right now. Really, it's so annoying. And even back then, he still wore that hat. So then we come back to the real time. Green Arrow, Roy, and Roy are still trying to fight this girl, but they still can't seem to win. And Starfire similarly wakes up. She's fine now, and she gets Cheshire out of there. She grabs her, she takes her off the island, is holding her above the water, but Cheshire blows some toxin into Starfire again, and then she teleports away, saying that she'll be back, that she's done what she needs to do. And Jason will be theirs once again. So then Starfire goes back to the island, and then we see that Jason's pretty much infuriated. He's furious with everybody now. He's angry that Roy and Starfire have been keeping secrets from him, that he's not who they say he is, that he's a bad person, that they're bad people. But they try to explain to him that no, you're looking at it too shallow, that it's not what you think. It's not what you think it is. That yeah, we cross the line sometimes, but we're not evil people. But he doesn't believe them, and he leaves. Also, Green Arrow try and reconcile with Roy, but Roy's not having it. He's still bitter about all those things that happened with him in the past. And apparently what Roy's saying, that everything he's doing is like, it's just to remove the guilt he has for his failures with Roy. And Roy remembers, well, Green Arrow says like his failures, his guilt, like what are you talking about, that you were putting people in danger. And Because apparently Green Arrow turned on Roy, but Roy was like, I was stone cold sober that day, and I remember what happened completely, and you turned on me. But then Roy's like, Green Arrow is trying to say that you're putting people in danger, but Roy's like, no. And like I mentioned, he was stone cold sober and everything, but you're just trying to, what was it he said? Yeah, trying to hide his guilt or something. And apparently we see a little flashback of them fighting, which they don't fully explain what actually happened with them. But in the end, Roy tells him to leave, and then Starfire tells him to leave as well. But in the end, Roy does mention that he will sort out his problems with Green Arrow eventually, which it was pretty annoying because I wanted to find out what was their actual issue, because we don't fully know what happened with them. We get a taste of see what was their problems, but we don't fully see what led to them splitting up. Why did he kick him out? What did he actually do? And obviously we can assume that it does have something to do with the whole drugs thing, but we can only assume at this point. So later on, Starfire and Roy, they're alone together. They're talking with each other about their problems and everything. And Roy doesn't feel that he can still trust Starfire, that no one can trust anybody at the moment because Jason can't trust them and Roy can't trust Starfire. But then as they're saying this, Roy notices Jason leaves a note saying that he's leaving. He has to find out who he really is and they shouldn't follow him. Then we find out that Jason actually sneaks on board Green Arrow's ship, but he's actually underneath it. But then we find that I think Jason was listening in on this conversation, because as Green Arrow was flying away in his ship, he was talking with Steve Trevor, mentioning about how wouldn't the Outlaws be safer with Hugo Strange? No, I think it's Hugo Strange. Yeah, Hugo Strange or something like that. And Green Arrow was saying that no, they're fine the way they are. They haven't been giving Roy enough credit, and he's stronger than I thought he was before. So I was hearing and saying this, and I was thinking like maybe what's going on with the Outlaws might tie in with the whole Trinity saga that's coming up. So maybe that's what I was thinking. So then what else? And yeah, just before the ending, we get another flashback with Roy and his therapy sessions with Hugo Strange, saying that apparently Green Arrow knew about these sessions, but he didn't want him seeing Hugo anymore. But Hugo is like, who do you trust, me or him? That these therapy sessions, they make you feel bad, don't they? And like, yeah, I trust you. So then later on we see, this is in the present again, we see the Bronze Tiger saying that Cheshire did well to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the Outlaws, that we can take them down easily now. And apparently he's saying that Jason will once again be a member of the League of Assassins, which was also making me wonder what was this girl's connection with Jason. And we found out, yeah, he is a member of the League of Assassins apparently. So it wasn't just the all cast, he was apparently a member of the League of Assassins now. So apparently this is going to be the premise for the next issue. So overall, it was a good issue. A good issue, yeah. I like seeing just like how things were falling apart really with the whole Outlaws thing, because at first it seemed like the perfect little gang. Really, it seemed like, even though the setup that they had with Jason as the leader, but he didn't want to be their leader. But then you see the friendship with them developing and everything. But everything just went to hell after the whole Death of the Family arc. And now we can see just how everything is falling apart with the secrets and the lies and the mistrust, especially with Roy, because Roy is totally against the whole lies and the mistrust and everything, because of the whole Green Arrow situation, with him and Green Arrow not being able to trust each other and apparently betraying one another. So again, like I said, they didn't really dive down into what really happened between them. We saw glimpses of how they met, of how of what Roy's role was in Green Arrow's fight against crime, but we don't actually see like how he fully gets into the whole crime fighting business, or why they split, why they separated ways in the end, which was a kind of an annoyance to me. And also the fact that Jason felt the need to dive down into his past when he didn't want to remember in the first place. He even said in the last issue that I feel a great weight being lifted off my shoulders that I don't want to remember. if I wanted it on a race, I don't want to remember, obviously. So why is he looking back into his past? It was pretty annoying, to be honest. But it's also interesting to see where this goes, just to see what other things Jason did during his time preparing to take on Batman, because he was training with the. Because I know that Tyler did save him from death, and he trained with the Outlaws, but we didn't know that he was actually part of the League of Assassins. Because there is so much we don't know about Jason, but it's interesting to see where this goes and what he will find about himself. So overall, I give this an 8.5, a good issue. But those things like not fully revealing what happened with the whole Roy and Green Arrow thing, and Jason being too attached to his past, even though he wanted to get rid of all of that in the first place, it was pretty annoying. But apart from that, it was still a good issue. So yeah, I give it 8.5. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what you thought, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It's in Comic Quiz. Signing out, guys. See you next time.